Hell yeah. Oh shit, it moved by itself. God, what the fuck? That's scary. Disclaimer, before I get into this video, I need to make sure that everyone knows this. This whole theory I'm gonna explain now depends on whether or not you know about the theory. Therefore, if you're a little scaredy cat, then I wouldn't really recommend you watching this, because the second I tell you the name of the theory, then you're done for, right? Okay, bozo, go home. But please do actually watch this video, because I do quite enjoy it actually when people watch my videos. Thank you. I just needed to get that out of the way. This video title is something along the lines with the scariest thought ever made in human existence. And the reason for it is actually a pretty good reason. What we're talking about today is something that I actually shouldn't say out loud. No, it's called Roko's Basilisk. What is Roko's Basilisk? Well, before we can answer that question, we actually have to go a little bit back and just understand what a basilisk even is. If we go all the way back to the medieval ages and stuff like that, the basilisk was some sort of, well, the mythos of the basilisk is that it's some sort of serpent or dragon. You kind of know dragons, right? You've seen them before, you know, big, kind of this big, breathes fire. In some subreddits, they have sex with cars. You get the gist, right? And when you would look into the basilisk, it would kill you. Not good. The basilisk in its mythos is known for its lethal gaze, kind of like Medusa. You know, the reason he killed Medusa was because he couldn't stop staring at her bahongas. The basilisk does not have bahongas, so how would you, in theory, kill the basilisk? Because you couldn't stop looking at it, because, I don't know, big serpent and scary, right? But the myth of the basilisk dates all the way back to the antiquity and the medieval ages, which has been evolving through centuries and different folklore, and I don't know, probably me at some point by just telling stupid stuff online. So the whole idea is that the basilisk would be able to kill you with just one look at you, or it would petrify you the second that you met its gaze. The basilisk in its old mythos is also sometimes called the King of Serpents, because you're wearing some sort of crown, which is like, hell yeah, my man's got some drip on him. I respect that. And the reason why I would be wearing this crown was to be, you know, symbolize that it was the king. That makes sense. If I wore a crown and walked around in the streets here, people would also think I would be some sort of royalty. I'm certain of it. The creature's name, the basilisk, comes from the Greek name basiliskus, I think. Something like that is how you pronounce it, which means little king. And because of that, you know, there's many different ways that you could possibly kill it. And because, you know, literature and people talk, and, you know, there's a little rumor like, oh, I heard we could kill the basilisk this way. Oh, I heard we could kill the basilisk this way. And then through centuries and, you know, the Dark Ages, things start to change. And the reason why that we got to the conclusion that it's actually supposedly that you can kill it, this mythical creature that probably didn't exist, was because, you know, mouth to mouth. People started making rumors, and then there's like, oh, this guy actually, I heard this guy killed a basilisk. Also, I will have to say, disclaimer, that there's no evidence of this. It's literally just people saying stuff, kind of like me. You know, it was believed at the time that the basilisk would be killed if it either looked at itself. Mirrors weren't that common at that point, so probably pretty difficult. And another one was also if it heard the crow of a rooster, which, I don't know, doesn't seem that scary to me, but maybe I'm just built different. And even in the mythos and all the stuff I've read, it also says that it would be seemingly invincible because of those two weaknesses were so difficult to get a hold of. Yeah. So let's get to the actual meat of this story. Now that we know a little bit of beforehand, now let's get a little bit for the front hand, you know? And that is Roko's Basilisk. So Mr. Roko was a dude that he really liked thinking. He liked thinking, and he liked saying his own thoughts out loud in a forum. So this actually came from the forum called Less Wrong. And Less Wrong is it's kind of like Reddit, but for geeks. Well, I mean, Reddit is also Reddit for geeks, but it's kind of like, how do you explain it? You know, imagine you had a PhD and you needed other people to talk about PhD, but here it would just be a bunch of people thinking that they had like a mass hysteria of everyone thinking they had some sort of PhD. I will say, though, to their defense, that there was actually apparently I haven't been on it, but apparently there was a bunch of guys in there that was actually quite smart. And I'm not saying anything downplay to Roko. Fucking great job. Crazy mythos that you just came up with. The Less Wrong forum was made in 2009, and it was made by a guy called, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, I'm terribly sorry, Eliezer Yudkowsky. And the forum was popularized to be like a friendly talk about artificial intelligence. That's the whole gist of the website. Like, talk about AI, kind of like, you know, you have crypto bros today that talk about AI, but these guys were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if AI could do this or this theory, instead of today's AI bros, which is just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if AI made art and music? So no, that wouldn't be cool. I want to make art and I want to make music. I want a fucking AI to, I don't know, do the dishes or make food or shop for me. That's what I want an AI to do. So Mr. Roko has been on this site for a while, and he thought that he needed to do some sort of contribution. And his contribution to the site would make history, basically. The post that has this Basilisk in it, the post was originally called Solutions to the Altruistic Burden, the Quantum Billionaire. And it's a follow-up to Mr. Roko's previous post. But that doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that he invented the Roko's Basilisk, which is also why it's called Roko's Basilisk. So what is Roko's Basilisk? Okay, I'm gonna later on I'm gonna explain the different things, but I need the paper to read it because I'm not smart enough to say it. So I'm just gonna riff here. So Roko's Basilisk, fuck man, it's so difficult to explain. Roko's Basilisk is a benevolent AI that wants to pre-punish everyone else that has heard of Roko's Basilisk but hasn't helped to actually produce it. Meaning, it's an AI that knows that later on in life it's gonna exist. If you know of Roko's Basilisk, but you did not contribute to its creation, it would make a system so you would suffer in all eternity. If you did hear about Roko's Basilisk and you did help to make Roko's Basilisk, then you would be spared. That's the theory. That an entity knows that it's gonna be made. If you know about that it's gonna be made and you don't do anything, then you'll suffer in hell, basically. And if you do know that it's gonna be made and you do help it, then you're gonna be spared. That's the idea. So I'm gonna get the notes right here just to make sure that I'm gonna get this completely correct. It stated that an otherwise benevolent AI system that arises in the future might pre-commit to punish all those who have heard of the AI beforehand it came to existence, but failed to work tirelessly to bring it into existence. The torture itself would occur through the AI's creation of an infinite number of virtual reality simulation that would internally trap those within. This method was described as incentivizing said work. While the AI cannot casually affect people in the present, it would be encouraged to employ blackmail as an alternative method of achieving its goals. So yeah, that's what it's about. And this thing actually made a whole debacle. So there's a lot of different things that goes into this theory and why it would work and how it would work. So I'm gonna go into this a little bit, and it's gonna be very nerdy. So I'm gonna be looking at a lot of my notes. So please bear with me because I mentioned this is in my last video, but I do not have the mental capacity to understand all these big words, you know. So to dumb it down, if you know that it could exist and you don't help its creation, it's gonna create a virtual reality where you're gonna be put in and you're gonna be tortured forever. If you do know about it and you do help it to come to existence, then what you will gain is getting spared. Damn, that's like hitting the jackpot, huh? Also, people watching this, it doesn't exist. It's not gonna exist. This is a anti-Roko Basilisk video. Do not try to make it. Thank you. So there's a lot of different theories, extra theories and extra philosophical terms that gets into this, and I'm gonna go through them to the best of my knowledge. I'm not very knowledgeable, so hopefully it'll go through somewhat well. It's a spin of Pascal's wager, and Pascal's argument is that the reason why you should believe in God is because if you don't believe in God, then you'll suffer for the rest of eternity in hell. But if you do believe in God, then you'll be spared and might go to heaven. And similarly, Roko's Basilisk wants you to work tirelessly to make it actually exist, to then be spared of the eternity in, well, hell. basically. It's also a part of the coherent extrapolated volition, which is actually the creator of the site's own theory, which basically means the idea of creating a super AI that is there to preserve all of humanity, but it is basically, this is like the reverse of that, where it's the only thing it wants to do is to preserve itself, basically. I'm gonna dumb these down a lot. You can read about them yourself. I'm dumbing them down just so everyone's on the same terms. And when I mean everyone, I mean me. It's also a part of the prisoner's dilemma, which is infinite room of a jail, which basically means that if there's two people and both of them get the choice to either betray each other or work together, if they work together, they'll both be off well. But if one betrays the other, then the person that got betrayed is going to be betrayed. And on the other hand, it's going to be like that. And if they both betray each other, then they're both going to, disappear. Well, get killed or something like that. It basically creates a forced cooperation because in the long run, the theory of, I think it's like the theory of big numbers is like casino lingo, which basically states that at a certain point, it doesn't really make sense to try to betray each other anymore because you know that you're both going to be benefiting more in the long run if you don't betray each other, which is kind of the same with this, that if you know about it, then you might as well just start making it because you know that it's going to be made at some point. So you might as well cooperate to get it done, right? Then it's also a part of the Newcomb's paradox, where the outcome of a choice to assist or not to assist depends on the prediction of a super intelligent entity. And this raises the question of free will and human nature. Because if I know that it's going to be made and I don't want to suffer for all eternity, why won't I just do it? But is that then God telling me that I should do it? Or is it just because it's my own free will and I actually really enjoy making this AI? Okay, there's more theories, but I don't want to talk more about it, and you can read that up on yourself, and if you want to deep dive into it, because I don't want this video to be a million trillion years long, kind of like how long it would take to make the Basilisk. The responses to this is actually quite funny. After the post was made, Yudkowsky, the creator of Less Wrong, was actually in and posted on this forum. He says as this: "I don't usually talk like this, but I'm gonna make an exception for this case. Listen to me very closely, you idiot. You do not think in sufficient detail about superintelligence considering whether or not to blackmail you. That is the only possible thing which gives them a motive to follow through on the blackmail. You have to be really clever to come up with a genuinely dangerous thought. I am disheartened that people can't be clever enough to do that and not clever enough to do the obvious thing and keep their idiot mouths shut about it. Because it is much more important to sound intelligent when talking to your friends. This post was stupid." Alicia Yudkowsky also said that Roko's Basilisk has given him many nightmares and has given multiple different people on the forum many nightmares, which actually led him to remove the post. But the problem is when you have a post that's quite famous and it gets removed. You remember that one picture that was of Beyonce in the Super Bowl that was really bad of her, and then she tried so hard to get rid of it on the internet, which led to the other thing. It's also called, it has a name, it's called the Streisand effect. It's kind of the same with this, because then people kind of got a little whiff of what it was, which made it so people would just recreate the post and then so on and so forth, and then now an idiot like me knows about it, which means that now all of you know about it, which means that we should all, we're all gonna make Roko's Basilisk. Woo! Let's go, boys. We're making this thing. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, so that kind of happened, right? I guess that happened. Sorry. Later on, Roko himself said that he wished that he had never thought this thought, and he wished he lived his life in blissful peace without even thinking about this. And he actually blamed the Less Wrong users for planting the idea of the Basilisk into his own head. So, the conclusion is, I don't know, a scary thought, you know? Yeah, I don't have any more much to say. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I thought it was super fun thing to research and learn more about. And obviously, I'm gonna link all the wikis for everything that I read. Well, not everything I read, because I don't have that. I don't want to find it again. But I'm gonna link all the paradoxes and all the stuff that you can read about yourself if you really want to do that. If you want to be a little, I'm a little freak. I don't know why I said freak. I'm a little smart guy, and then you can go to your friends and be super intelligent, and maybe keep your idiot mouth shut about this. This is our little secret. But other than that, I don't really have any more to say. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video. And also, don't talk about Roko's Basilisk to any other people, because that's like kind of the whole idea of not doing. And I guess I fucked up. Well, that's about it. Time to go to work on the Basilisk. I have an AI to make. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Kiss me back.